This is not another Power BI dashboard tutorial. We are building the complete analytics platform for manufacturing company. We are starting from raw CSV files to executive dashboard using Databricks, DBT, SQL, and Power BI. So let's get started. In this project, we are building enterprise supply chain and manufacturing analytics platform. So we are using SQL, Databricks, DBT, and Power BI. So as you know, in every data analytics or business intelligence project, we first of all need to understand the business context, the business problem. Because in every solution that we are creating, there must be a problem we are trying to solve. So let's jump straight to the business context. So this is the business context where we are solving a problem of a manufacturing company. So the manufacturing company is experiencing high logistic cost, inventory stockouts, suppliers delays, and production downtime, reducing operational efficiency and profitability. So the data is collected from ERP, inventory, production, logistic, and supplier system, but remains soiled across multiple sources. So the management want a analytics platform to provide us a single source of truth for operational and executive decision making. So basically here, as you can see, we are dealing with a manufacturing company, and this manufacturing company is experiencing this high logistic cost, inventory stockouts, and supplier delay, production downtime, and reducing the operational efficiency and profitability. And the data of this company is scattered across different departments. So we have the inventory department. So we have inventory department, we have production department, we have logistics, we have logistics, and then we have the suppliers department. So you see, all these departments, they contain their own respective data. So it's very difficult for management to, for example, analyze the general performance of the organization, because all this data, they are scattered into their different system. So the management want a centralized location where you're going to pull all this data into this location, and from this location is where now we can take the data and use BI tools such as Power BI, for example. Power BI or maybe Tableau, and start building the dashboard, and from the dashboard we can get the insights, and from the insights we can get recommendation, and out of this recommendation is where now the management can come up with a better business decision. But currently their data is in different multiple data source. So they want the central location where they can have all the data of their company into a single place. So that's the business context. Now let's understand the real business problem here. So the business problem here is supply chain data is scattered across multiple systems and spreadsheets, resulting in manual reporting, limited operational visibility, inconsistent business metrics, delayed decision making, and this is make it difficult to monitor the inventory, supplier performance, production, and logistics efficiently. Since the data is in different system, this cause this problem: the manual reporting, the limited operational visibility, inconsistent business metrics, delayed decision making. So this one generally it makes them difficult to monitor the inventory, supplier performance, production, and logistic efficiently. So let's find the project objective. So the project objective first is to build the centralized supply chain and analytics. So first is to build this, the centralized, let's say centralized location. For this case, we call it data warehouse. So data warehouse is where we collect all the data of the organization into that single place. So data warehouse is now the single place. So, and we have different system or tools we can use as a data warehouse. One of them being Snowflake, Databricks, Redshift. Also, we can even use PostgreSQL and so on. But for this project, we are using Databricks. So build a centralized supply chain and manufacturing analytics platform to consolidate the supply chain. To consolidate this supply chain, all this data into this, and then within that we standardize and transform the data. So within this, for our case, for our case here, we are going to use this centralized location. For our case, we're going to use Databricks. So Databricks is the central location. Let's call it the central location. So this is more of like our data warehouse. So that's number one, where we shall going to consolidate the supply chain data. And then objective number two is standardize and transform the data. So once this data lands into this data warehouse, this data is normally raw. It's not cleaned, it's not well transformed. So you need to clean this data into this, within this data warehouse. So that process is what we call ELT. Where first of all we extract the data. We extract the data from these sources, and then we load the data. We load the data into the data warehouse, and then within this data warehouse is where we do the transformation. So this entire process is what we call the ELT: extract, load, and then we transform. So for our case, standardize and transform data, for our case we shall going to use DBT to do all the data transformation. So we shall going to use DBT to do the data transformation. DBT to carry all the data transformation. For data transformation. To do all the data transformation within this data warehouse. So another one after that, monitor procurement, inventory, production, and logistics. Track supplier performance, measure the KPI, operational KPIs, deliver interactive Power BI dashboard. So all this we shall going to monitor after we've cleaned this data is where now we will going to pull this data into Power BI. So for our case, we shall going to use Power BI here for the data visualization. Power BI. So this one we shall going to use it for the data visualization. data visualization. For the data visualization, so where we shall going to track. So with the help of the data visualization, we shall be able to monitor the procurement, inventory, production, and logistics. Since all this data they've put into a single place, and we can easily pull this data to Power BI and visualize the data. And then using the Power BI, you can also track the supplier performance. We'll be able to know which supplier has let's say worse in terms of delivery delays. Also, we shall going to come up with the key performance indicators. For example, the average delivery delay days. Also, we can come up with maybe the general performance of the organization and so forth. So those are more of like the key performance indicators. And then, of course, we're going to build an interactive Power BI dashboards. We can decide to build dashboard, for example, for executives, dashboard specific for procurement, inventory, production, or logistics. And then here now, with the help of this centralized location, we'll be able to provide a single source of truth for decision making, because all the data will be put into this central in this data warehouse. So this data warehouse is more of like our single source of truth. All the people of the organization depend on only this data. They do not depend on data from this. So the data analysts, the data engineers, the data scientists, the AI engineers, they can pull the data from this single source of truth, that for our case is data warehouse, and then they can do whatever they want to do with the data. For data analysts, they can use it to build the Power BI, build their data visualization. For data scientists, they can use to come up with machine learning models. And also the AI engineer, for example, they can use to build AI related products and so on. So that's basically the business objective, the project objective of this project. So now let's try to find the architecture of how this project will going to do it. So we're going to pull the data from CSV. For the data source, for the sake of this project, our data is currently in CSV, so we shall going to pull the data from the CSV, and then we shall going to pull them into Databricks data lake. All the data sets, we shall going to pull them into the Databricks data lake. So this is Databricks is now our data warehouse. So we shall going to take all the data into the Databricks, and then within this Databricks, we shall going to build 3 layers. We shall going to build a bronze layer, silver layer, and gold layer. So bronze layer, this one will contain the raw data from. So once the data is pulled from its respective sources, it's just dumped into this layer. So this layer is what we call the bronze layer. And then from this layer within the Databricks, we shall going to use DBT, and we shall going to create another layer where we shall going to do all the data transformation, and this layer will contain the cleaned and standardized data. So this layer this layer is what we call the silver layer, and then from the silver we shall now build another layer called gold. Gold now, this one contains the business the data that is ready for the analytics. That means we shall going to build what we call the dimensional model, where we shall going to identify the primary key and foreign key of each table, the facts table and the dimensional table, and then we come up with the dimensional models. And then from this is where now we can take the data from the code layer into Power BI. So in Power BI we can, these are the possibility dashboard that we're going to build, where we shall going to build the executive dashboard, supply chain dashboard, procurement dashboard, inventory dashboard, production dashboard, logistic dashboard, supply performance, all this kind of. So from this dashboard now is where we can get the insights, and from the insights we can provide recommendation to the organization, and from this recommendation they can be able to make better decision for their company. So let's set up the data warehouse. So for this case we shall going to use Databricks, and then we shall going to pull our data into our data warehouse, that is the Databricks. So let's set up the Databricks account. So I'll just write Databricks. Yeah, I think just write Databricks Community Edition, and then we just click on this. And then after that you will simply enter your email here. So for my case I'll enter my email, and then you'll click continue with email. And then after you've entered your email, a verification code will be sent into our email. So let me find mine. So my verification code is this one, the 5th 5TH BLN. So after that you will, if it's your first time, you will create your account, and then you will log in. So if it's your first time, you'll create an account. So you'll basically create an account here. For here you will put your username, and then here you'll put your country name, and then you'll click on continue. So this is how the interface of Databricks look like. So in this Databricks we shall going to create a database, and then we shall going to import our data into this Databricks. So currently our data is in Excel. So currently our data is in Excel. So here we have a calendar table. Here we have calendar table. Here we have inventory table. Here we have logistic table. Here we have production table. Here we have sales table, and here we have suppliers table. So we want to take this data into the Databricks. So first of all, we need to create a database in the Databricks. So let's go back to Databricks and create the database. So when you want to create a database, you'll just come to catalog, and then you'll come to this button, and then you'll click on create catalog, and then you'll name the database. So for our database, since we are dealing with supply chain, let's just call it supply chain. Let's call it supply chain DB, and then we click on create. Supply chain, okay, supply chain DB, supply chain DB, yeah. Then configure. and then you scroll, and then you click on next, and then you click on save. So we have our supply chain DB database created here. So after that, just click on the DB and then click on schema. So we are creating schema. So schema basically is the place where it will have all the tables. So create schema, name the schema. So let's call it supply chain schema, and then you click on create. And then after creating our schema, now if you look at the schema, there's no data. So we need to take that, we need to now import the data from wherever they are into the Databricks. So for our case, we are importing data from CSV or Excel into Databricks. So just come to create table and then come to browse. Yes, so for our data, we put it in the desktop. So let's start with calendar. So click on calendar, click on open, and then we can remove this and just leave the table calendar. So our data will be stored in catalog supply chain DB and then schema supply chain schema, and the table name will be the calendar table. So after that, click on create table, and then click to schema, and then let's take, so our calendar table also, it has successfully arrived into our schema here, as you can see here. So this is the calendar table where you see all the columns of our table calendar. So come to supply chain schema, and then also, so we want to import another table. So click on create and then table, and then come to browse, and then let's take another table let's take inventory, and then so click create table. Yeah, so we have our inventory table arrive in the Databricks. Click on supply chain and then click on create table, browse, and then so let's take logistics. Yes, so let's just call it logistic. So it's in catalog supply chain DB, it's in schema supply chain schema, and then you click on create table. So that one has landed. Click on supply chain schema, and then come to table, browse, so after inventory, let's take production, open, and then come to create table. So here our production table has arrived in the Databricks, and then click on again schema, create table, browse, purchase orders, purchase orders, click open, and then create table. So purchase orders table is in the Databricks. Come to schema, create table, browse, and then sales focused, open. So let's correct this and then create table. So table focused, then I think the last one is suppliers. So table here, browse, and then suppliers. Yes, suppliers. So create table. So we have all our table successfully loaded into the Databricks. So the next step now is to do data transformation. So for this case, we shall going to use DBT to do the data transformation. So that means we'll have to connect this Databricks with DBT. So we'll have to install the DBT. We'll have to install the DBT and then connect the DBT with the Databricks and do all the data transformation within in the Databricks. I mean in the DBT. So for us to install this DBT, there's some prerequisites that needed for us to install and set up the DBT. So let's just list these prerequisites of the DBT. Yes, so DBT installation, let's just call it DBT installation. So number one, so for us to install the DBT, number one, we need to install Python in our computer, Python. And then number two, we need to install Git. And number three, we need to install UV. And number four, we need to install VS Code. So these are the prerequisites we are needed for us to install the DBT. So let's start installing these prerequisites. Let's jump straight into installing the Python. So for Python, simply go to the browser, search just Python download, then download. So for Python, make sure you install a very specific Python package that is 3.2. We don't just install any Python. We must install a Python that will be compatible with the DBT. So here we will have to. So the Python, it's very, we need to be very specific. The Python should be 3.12. So let's search for the 3.12 Python. Yeah, because as you can see here, we have a Python, but this one is 3.146. So 3.146, though it is the latest one, but this one is not really compatible with the DBT, let's say, functions. So we need to come to this, just scroll, and then you'll meet all these versions. So search for 3.1 to 3. So for me, I will recommend you click on 3.129 because this is the kind of Python that I personally used. or I downloaded and installed, and it works super perfect. So after that, you will choose your Windows. You will choose your type of the operating system. If it's Windows, you will come to Windows, and if it's macros and so you'll just scroll here, and then you'll find this one, the Windows installer, 64-bit. So you will simply click here, and then it will be downloaded. So since I already downloaded this one, I don't have to repeat downloading. So for your case, you'll just have to download it, and then you install this Python. So after you've installed, now you will the installation is very straightforward. You just click on it, you open on it, and then you will just follow the procedure of installing it. After that, you will come to the command prompt, command prompt, and then here you will simply type Python. So we want to confirm the version of Python that we've installed. So after you've installed, you will come to Python and try to confirm the version of Python that you've installed. So for my case, I installed 3.12. So that means we have our Python successfully installed. So we can go to this one here and say we have installed Python successfully. The next step is to install. Let's install this VS Code. So let's install VS Code. So for this, just VS Code install, and then you'll come to download this one here. So for this one, I think this one is very straightforward. This one is very straightforward, so you will simply click on this one. After clicking on that one, it will start downloading, as you can see. After it ended downloading, you will double click on it, you open it, and then you will install it. So this one also is very straightforward. You just install it by following the right procedure. So since I already installed this one, I don't have to repeat installing the same. So we have our VS Code installed. Now we can go to so we have our VS Code. This one also is installed. Now let's go to Git. So click here, come to command, write git download. So after that, just click on the first one, and this one is very straightforward. You'll just have to choose your operating system. For this one, for mine is Windows, so just click on Windows and then choose one of this. So for your case, I will recommend this one, and it will start downloading. After it finishes downloading, you will open it, you will click on the procedure and then you will install it. Yes, so after that also this one also you'll come to the command, command prompt, command prompt. You will also try to see the kind of version you downloaded and installed of this Git. So for that, just type Git and then version, and then click on enter. So for my case, you can see this is the version of Git that I downloaded and installed in my computer. So let's tick on that also in so we downloaded this, so also let's put tick on this. And then we have this UV. For this one you can just come to command prompt. This one we don't have to go to the browser and install it. From the browser you just come to command prompt and then you'll click on open, and then let's just install this using the command prompt. So you just click on pip install UV, and then you click enter. Yes, so let's allow it to install our UV. Yeah, so you can see, so requirement already satisfied and so on. So we can also, so we have the UV in our machine, we have the Python, so we've also installed UV. It's very straightforward. So now we've installed all the relevant tools needed to do the DBT installation, where we've installed the Python, the VS Code, the Git, and the UV. So after you've downloaded and installed all the tools required for the DBT setting up and installation, so the next step is to open the VS Code. Since VS Code is more of like the workspace where we're going to run all the activities required for this project. So before we open the VS Code, we will create a folder. So just come to your file explorer, and then, so for my case, I'll going to create this folder under downloads, and then so come to new folder. So let's call this folder supply chain. Let's call it DBT project. And then click enter. Now let's come to the search button, and then we search VS Code. So click on open. So this is the outlook of the VS Code. So let's allow it to open fully. So this is the outlook of the VS Code. So as you can see here, there is these are some of my project. For your case, if you don't have any project, this place you'll not find it. You'll find nothing. So just come to file, come to open folder. And then here now we're going to put the folder that we've created. So come to, and then, so this is the folder that I've created before I open the VS Code. So come to select folder. This is as you can see, this is the folder that we created and we've uploaded into the VS Code. So this folder is more of like, it will contain all the resources or all the activities that are required specific for this project. So after we've taken this folder into the VS Code, now since remember we installed our Python, Git, UV, and VS Code. So for Python to work well with VS Code, we need to install Python extension. So Python extension will help the VS Code communicate with the Python tool, the Python software that we've installed in our computer. So for that, just come to this button here, just click on it, and then just search Python. And then you will see this Python language support with extension. So just click on that, and then for your case, this button will be more of like this button will be it will be written installed. So you'll just click on it and it will automatically be installed. For my case, it's just written this because I've already installed the Python extension in my VS Code. So for that, for your case, you'll click on that install button, and the Python extension will be installed automatically into the VS Code. So after that, after you've installed, just click on that, come to Explorer, and then after we've done this, now you will come to close. You're going to close the VS Code, and then after closing the VS Code, just come to search again, and you reopen the you just click and so just search VS Code, and you click on open. Yeah, so here we're going to choose our project here. So this is our the supply chain DBT project. So click on that. So click on that, and then so here we have the project open within the VS Code. So after this, now after we have the project within this VS Code, we will now going to create and activate something called virtual environment. So virtual environment is like we are creating a space or a store specifically for this project, where we're going to store all the libraries, all the resources, all the tools needed for this project. So that space is what we call the virtual environment. We are creating a space specifically for this project. So for that, you'll just have to come to for that, you'll just come to here. You'll see these beside this run here, you'll see these three dots, and then you'll see terminal, and then you'll come to new terminal. So let's allow it to load. So you will see this, and then after this you will write UV, so we need init, and then you'll click on enter, and then after that you'll write UV SN See, and then you'll click enter. So this one now is more of like we've created the virtual environment. So this is so now we need to activate this virtual environment. We need to activate. So it's more of like we've created the virtual environment up to this point. Now we need to write a script or a code that will activate the virtual environment. But before we write that script or that code to activate the virtual environment, first of all, there's a command that we need to write, because currently it's more of like we cannot activate the virtual environment at this point. We need to write a command that because if you run the activation script, if you write the activation script here, it will pop up an error. So for us to correct that error, for us to not to get that error, there's a command that we need to write. So for that you just come to set, you write the command that will set execution policy scope current user remote signed, then click enter. And then so this command will help us not to get the error. So now after writing this command, now let's write the activation script. So you just write dot and then stroke, and then you will copy this. So you write, so depending on your, let's say you'll just copy this one here. So this one varies depending on the, let's say, the computer system. So for my case it's .venv and then stroke write scripts stroke activate dot ps1, and then you will click on enter. So we have created and activated our virtual environment. So the next step now is to install the DBT resources. So let's start with the DBT itself. So for this project, we shall going to install a version of DBT called DBT Core. So you just write UV, and then so it's more of like we are adding the DBT resources into the virtual environment that we've created. So you write UV add, and then DBT Core. So this is the version of DBT that we're going to use. So after that, click enter. Yeah, so we've added all the DBT resources. So now let's add something called adapter. So remember, we are connecting this DBT with Databricks. So we want to work with the DBT and the Databricks. So generally we are using DBT to do the data transformation that is stored into the Databricks. So there's a something called adapter. So adapter is more of like something that connects the DBT and the Databricks. So that one is what we call the Databricks adapter. So for that, just also add into the virtual environment, just write UV and then add dbt Databricks. Yeah, so this is what we call the Databricks adapter. Since we are using, our data is stored into Databricks, and where we want to use dbt to do the transformation within the to do the data transformation within the Databricks. For maybe if it's Snowflake, maybe it will be something like dbt Snowflake, something like that. But for this is the name of the Databricks adapter, dbt, and then hyphen Databricks dbt. So this is basically the name of the Databricks adapter, and then you'll click on enter. Yeah, so we've also installed the Databricks adapter. So after this, we will write, we will also going to install a document. It's something like a document that will document all the resources that are within the within the our virtual environment. So for that, you just write UV and then freeze requirements. So for this, we're going to call it requirements dot text, and then you'll click enter. So I hope the resources they have, so all the resources there. So these are the, as you can see, this is our virtual environment, and we have installed all the, we have pumped all the relevant resources within the virtual environment. So after that, so this is the requirements text, the one that we've installed, we've added into the latest one. So after that, let's try to verify if we really have the, so write dbt, if we really have the dbt resources. So for this, just write dbt and then you click enter. Yeah, so after this, let's also add the git. So remember, you remember we installed the, we installed also the git. So so let's add the git into the virtual environment also. So that, just write git branch, and then you call it main, and then you write git dot add git add, and then you click on enter. And then write git commit, and then, so this one you can call it initial commit, then you click enter. Yeah, so after that, now you will so now we have all the dbt resources in our in our virtual environment. We have also the Git. We have also the Databricks adapter. Now let's connect the Databricks and the DBT. Let's connect the Databricks and the DBT through the VS Code. So for that, just write DBT init DBT init, and then you click enter. So it will ask you to enter a project name for So a project name you will just name just like this one here, supply chain DBT project. Just name supply chain DBT project, and then you click enter. Supply chain project is not valid name. Let's just go to where we install supply chain DBT project. Supply chain DBT project. Let's just project. Yes, I think this one is okay. So our project, we've called it supply underscore chain DBT project. As you can see, this is the name of our project. After that, it will ask you which database would you like to use. So for our case, we are using Databricks. So you'll simply enter number 1. And then it will ask you the host name. So the host name, you'll go to the Databricks. And then the host name, you'll get it from within the Databricks. You'll come to compute, and then you'll come to this, and then you'll come to connection details, and then here you'll have the host name. So copy, and then come to here, and then you paste. You click enter. It will ask you the HTTP path. You'll come to HTTP path is here, copy, and then you enter, and then use access token. So for our case, we're going to use access. So you'll just type 1, and then you'll get the access token. You'll get the access token number. It will ask you the access token number. So access token number, we will get it within the Databricks, where you will come to this here, and then you'll see settings, and then after seeing the settings, you'll see developer here, and then you'll click on manage access, and then you'll click on generate new token. So let's call it this supply. Let's just call it token. And then 14 days BI tools, and then you come to generate. So this is the token. So you'll just copy and then you will paste it here. So paste. So once you paste, it will not be shown just like the other one. So for security purposes, click enter. After that, so we're using unit catalog, so type 1 here, and then after that it will ask you the so the catalog name. So the catalog name we're going to, so catalog name basically it's the database that we created that it stores. So for that, just click done and then come to catalog. So the catalog that stores our data is this supply chain DB. So all these are the catalogs, but the catalog that store our data is this one, the supply chain DB. That's the catalog where if you expand, you'll see supply chain schema, and if you expand that, you're going to see all the data. So the catalog is supply chain DB. So let's just type it, supply chain DB, supply chain DB, and then schema, I think it's supply chain schema. Yes, so let's just confirm it, supply chain schema. So that one is, and then trade, you'll just type 1 and then you'll click enter. So after that, we've connected the DBT with the Databricks. Now let's enter into this project, the project that we created while connecting the DBT and the Databricks, this one here. So for you to enter into that project, just come to CD, write CD, and then you'll just write the name of the project. So that is supply underscore chain DBT project. So I hope this one is okay. Supply chain DBT project, and then you click enter. And then after this, now let's debug the DBT debug. So we have built the connection between the Databricks and the DBT. So now since we have since our DBT is successfully installed into successfully installed, now we will going to install extension that will help the VS Code communicate with the DBT, and that extension is called Power User DBT extension. So Power User DBT extension is basically an extension that will help Python, that will help the VS Code communicate with the or work with the DBT more easier, and so it's more of like it will make the work of the VS Code more efficient and easier. So just come to extension here, just click on, and then write power I think it's power power user for DBT. You'll just see it somewhere here. Power user for DBT. So it's this one. So click on that, and then you will click on install. So allow it to get installed. Yes, so we have installed the power user for DBT, as you can see here. So just cancel it, come to the Explorer. After installing this, just come to control, just control shift, and then you click P. And then after this select Python select interpreter, and then you will choose this one. Yeah, choose that one. And then you will again click Control Shift P, and then you will click on reload window. You will click on the DBT core here, and then after clicking the DBT core, just come to troubleshoot, setup extension, and then just scroll up to this, and then you click on validate setup, and then you click on validate setup. So after so the project setup, so we validated the setup. So now you will come to your file explorer, and then you'll come to users, and then so there's a DBT file that it has been sent to your file explorer. So you'll come to users, and then you'll come to, so for mine I save Eric, and then .dbt, and then you will copy this file. So just right click, and then you how do I copy it? I want to copy this file. No, just select, and then you click on Control C, and then you'll come to now the here, and then Control, and then paste. Just click on that, and then Control V. I really sure want to paste this. Click paste. So you'll have this file. So remember this file. So for my file, it has a lot of other files that I create. That it has a lot of other files that are not related to this project. So I will remove the other file and remain with only the file related to this project. So the file related to this project is supplier chain DBT project. So we only need this file here. Where is it? So we only need this file here, this supply chain DBT project. So the rest, so you will remove from, So this is a file for another project, so let's remove it. All these are file for other projects, so let's remove them. Yeah, so remove all of them, click delete, and then come to this one here. Also this, so also remove all of them, so we are remaining with the only this file here. So for your case, I think if you've not really built this kind of project, you will only find this as your profile YAML file for the DBT. After that, you'll just click Control S so that you save this. So Control S, Control S. So we have this file. So now, so we have set up the DBT. We have done all the let's say, configuration and validation of the required steps. Now the following step is now to start bringing the data from the Databricks. Now start bringing the data from the Databricks into the DBT. So it's more of like we want now to start doing the data transformation within the DBT. So this data here, so currently it settles in the Databricks, but we want to, since we've already connected the Databricks and the DBT, we want to start doing the data transformation. So for that, so first of all, we need to inform the Databricks. I mean, we need to inform the DBT within this VS Code where the data currently is located. So for that, you'll just come to this file here. So this is the file that we're going to use most of our activities. So click on that. So currently it has some let's say projects. So these are just some samples. So just let's delete all of them. Just right click and then come to delete. Yes, we want to delete them. Yes, so currently our model here doesn't have anything. So after that, now, so we want to direct our DBT within this VS Code where our current data is located, this one. So we shall going to build something called source. Source is more of like its role is just basically to inform, to direct the DBT where the Databricks is. So click on the model, come to here, this button. So let's call it source, and then you click on enter, and then you click on this, and then you will click on sources.yaml, and then you click on that. So here you will come to browser, and then here you'll search, I think it's sources, I think for DBT, sources for, I think sources for DBT, something like that. Okay, yeah, let's click on that. Yeah, click on this, the first one, and then scroll it, so you will get this sample here. So copy, and then come to here, and then we paste it here, and then we're going to remove this here, remove this. Also we shall going to write version of this. So the latest version is version 2, so write version 2. So it's more like the latest version of this file is version 2. And then this file, it will ask you name of this file. So let's just call it just a random name. So let's call it source. Source like that. And then database is where now we shall going to give direction where the current where the data is, the database contain our current data. So come to Databricks. So the database here is this one, the supply chain DB in Databricks. Supply chain DB, supply chain DB. And then schema is the supply chain schema, supply chain schema. So let's confirm supply chain DB and then supply chain schema, and then tables here. So come to this. Yeah, so this one is okay. Tables now, the first table will be the calendar. So I hope that one is correct. And then we have the inventory. So let's confirm calendar, inventory, and then you have logistics. So copy this, the whole of it, copy, and then we paste it here, and then we call it logistics. And then we copy, we paste. Another table is production. Paste it. Another table is what's the another table? Here we have suppliers. Copy, and then we have another table is purchase underscore orders. Purchase underscore orders. And then another table is sales. Sales underscore forecast. Sales underscore forecasts. Sales underscore forecast. Yeah, so let's just reduce this gap here. Yeah. Yes, so we have, so let's confirm the spelling of our table. So the first one is calendar, and then we have inventory, have inventory, logistics, and then we have logistics, and then we have production, and then we have suppliers. Yes, suppliers, and then we have purchase underscore orders, and then we have the last one, sales forecast. So we have this is our source, this is our source table. This is our source table. So you'll, after that, after we've indicated the name of the file, that is source, and the database where our data is stored, the name of the data, the table name of the data, the schemas, and so on. You'll click on Control S so that you can save this file. So now we will going to create the 3 layers that it's called the Mendelian architecture, where we're going to build three layers. So come to model, come to bronze. So the 3 layers are bronze, let's just call it bronze, and then the other layer would be, just click on model, the other layer would be silver, and the other layer will be gold. So bronze will contain the raw data from the Databricks, and then after this raw data, we will going to write SQL query to do transformation, and then put this data into the silver, and then after that we shall going to use the data from silver layer into the gold and start building a dimensional model, where we shall going to come up with the facts table and the dimensional tables. So let's start dealing with the bronze layer. So come to bronze and then click here. So our first table, we want to take this calendar. So let's just write BRZ. BRZ is just a short form for bronze, and then we write calendar, and then dot SQL, and then after that, just going to write select star from. So we're going to use this source here, source. So the name of the source file was source. And then the table name is calendar. And then after that, you'll just click on just execute. So we have the calendar table here. Now let's work on the other tables. So come to bronze and then click here, BRZ, inventory, SQL. So and then you write select star from source from source. So name of the source is source. The table name is inventory. Inventory. And then you execute this. Yes, so we have the inventory table. So let's go to another table. So let's confirm from this. So let's go to logistics. So bronze, and then BRZ logistics. SQL, and then select stuff from source the table name is logistics. And then we execute logistics, and then so this is the table for logistic. And then also let's check on production. So come to bronze, click here, and then PR, say production. SQL. So right select star from source, and then table name is production. And then you execute. Yeah, so we have a production table here. So after that, purchase orders. So let's also work on purchase order, bronze, and then PRZ purchase orders, SQL, and then we select star from source, and then table name is purchase, orders, and then we execute. So we have the table for purchase order, and then sales forecast. So come to bronze, PRZ sales forecast, .SQL, then select star from source, and then table name is sales forecast, sales forecast. Here, sales forecast, here, sales forecast, and then you execute this. Here we have the table name sales forecast, but if you look at the sales forecast here, it's not well written, so just right click and then come to rename and then just correct it and then click enter. Yeah, and then after that I think we are ending with suppliers, so bronze, and then come to PRC suppliers, .sql, suppliers.sql. So select star from source so the table name is suppliers, and then you execute it. Yeah, so we have the table for suppliers. So now we want to take this table from the DBT, and then we want them to reflect in Databricks. So for that, let's first of all save this file. So let's start with the supplier. So just click on supplier and then come to Control S, and then you'll see this passing. So you leave it until it ends, and then you'll come to sales forecast, Control S, passing supply, and then you'll come to purchase order, Control S, and then production, Control S, and then logistics, Control S, and then inventory, Control S, and then calendar, Control S. So after this, come to terminal, and then we run this. So just write dbt, but before that, come to project, dbt project YAML, and make sure you have this. Make sure you've written the model. Make sure you have the bronze plus materialized view and plus schema bronze. So this one will contain all the table for the bronze layer, and then we have this other one. This one is for silver, and this one is for silver, and this one is for gold. So it's more of like we are directing. It's more of like this file that we've created in this dbt. There's a new schema that will be created called bronze. There's a new schema that will be created called bronze, and this new schema will contain the tables in the bronze layer. So this is for this. And then for silver also, we'll work on the table on silver layer, and then there will be a new schema created in the Databricks, and that new schema will be called something like schema silver, and then it will contain the data that will be in the silver layer. So make sure it contains these three, let's say these three layers, and it has this structure: the silver, for example, plus our materialized view, and then schema silver, and then here also gold view, and so on. So after that, now come to the terminal now and write dbt run, and then you click on enter. Yes, so our dbt has successfully run. As you can see, it has all the 7 tables. It has run all the 7 tables, and it has completed successfully. So come to Databricks, and then let's refresh this. Yeah, so we have, I think there's a new schema. Yeah, so there's a supply chain schema bronze. So if you expand, we're going to see all the tables that are present in the bronze layer in our VS Code dbt. So we are done with the bronze layer. So now let's proceed to the silver layer. So silver layer, this is a layer that it will contain all the data transformation. So in silver layer, so let's start with production. So let's just go to bronze, and then we click on production. Let's run this here, production. So we shall going to transform this whole data, the production, the bronze, the BRZ production table, shall going to transform this in the silver. So come to silver, and then click on this one, and then so this one, let's just call silver production dot SQL, and then you click enter. So now let's do the transformation. So select so the first column is production ID. So this one, production ID here is like a primary key, so we don't expect duplicates of production ID. So that means we'll have to write a command that will ensure there's no duplicates. So we're going to use a function. We're going to use a function called distinct. So select distinct, and then production ID, comma, and then here we have a date column. But if you look at the date column, it's more of like, it looks like it's just an integers. So we want to make sure that this date column reflect the real date, as in it's in the real data format, is in the real date format. So for that, we're going to use a function called date just write date add 1899 1230, and then you cast date as int, and we call this as production. Let's alias it as production date. Production date. And then after that, after this, after date, there's this one, the SKU column. So this one we can let's trim. So just write trim. Trim. We are basically removing unnecessary spaces among the words of this column. So the column name is SKU, and then you can call it as SKU, and then comma, and then we have output. So this one we will not going to transform anything, so we can just write it output quantity, and then we have downtime hours, downtime hours. We also will not going to change anything, so just leave just like that. And then here we have downtime reason. So some downtime reason here is null value, so we need to get rid of the null value. So for that, we're going to use what we call coalesce. So coalesce, and then write down downtime reason, and then comma. So in case there's null value, we just say no downtime, and we can alias this as downtime reason. And then so remember we are referencing this from the production table, the BRZ production table. So just write ref, we are referencing it from the BRZ production, yeah, BRZ production, and then after that you'll simply click on let's execute this. So we have the silver production table, and then also let's transform the other tables. So let's also transform inventory. Let's also do inventory. So let's run this, execute. Yeah, so this is the inventory, the BRZ inventory. So we want to transform this in the silver layer. So just come to silver and then click here, and then so we want to transform inventory dot SQL. So after this you'll simply, so there's a query that are already written, so let's simply go direct to that particular query. Yes, so this is the production query, and then So we have, yeah, so this is the query for inventory. So let's do some so let's just copy it here. Yeah, so here basically is select distinct. So we want this distinct column to be not to have not to have duplicates. So that's why we have used distinct. And then I've also trimmed this to remove the unnecessary spaces among these words. And then I've aliased it as SKU, and then warehouse, I did nothing about this, so that's why I just wrote the column warehouse. And then supplier ID, I also didn't do any transformation. Current stock, I also didn't do any transformation. And then reorder, I didn't also do any transformation. And then here I categorized I created a new column called inventory status, where when the current stock is less than or equal to the reorder level, then I call it reorder, and then anything else it will be insufficient, and then I've called that column as inventory status. So after that, so we are referencing this table from the BRZ inventory. So just write ref yeah, so we are referencing it from the BRZ inventory, and then you'll click on and then you will execute this. Yeah, so we have table for inventory, well transformed table for inventory, and as you can see here, we've included the inventory status. So now let's also transform. Let's transform purchase order. So come to purchase order. Let's execute this. Yeah, so let's transform this. So come to silver, and then here, and then silver purchase orders dot SQL. Purchase order dot SQL. Yes, so we want to transform this. So there's a query already created to this. So purchase order. So this is the query. So let's me copy it, and then so here is, let's drag this. So select, so purchase order here. So purchase order ID, I didn't transform, and then I've casted date. Now, so this one also will have to also cast just the same way as the one that I've done. So instead of this, we're going to use the date add kind of so date add function, because this one will bring some problems. So add date add, then poop 1899 9912. So we are basically changing the date, this date column here, this date column here. Order date is currently it look like it's a numeric values, yet it's a date column. So you're going to write date, add, and then 30, and then cast. So we are casting the order date as int. So we've simply made sure the order date is in the right data type. SKU I didn't transform, supplier also I didn't transform, and then quantity I didn't transform, delivery date, so this one I also have to transform it. So just delete this part. So this one doesn't really work well with, so copy this and then paste here, and then we change this so it's promise. So we are casting the promised delivery date, promised delivery date. Yeah, and then we call it, and then we're also going to also work on this. So actual delivery date, so just remove that and you add, so this one is actual delivery date, actual delivery date. And then after this we shall also going to add few columns where we shall going to subtract the actual delivery date with the promised date so that we can get the lead time days. And then we shall also going to subtract the actual delivery date with the order date so that we can get the lead time days, the order date, the actual date, we subtract it with the order date and we get the lead time days. So it's more of like the number of days from where the product was ordered to the time the product was delivered. And then we shall going to calculate the delivery delay days by subtracting the actual date with the promised delivery date. So the company promised this date, but the actual date was this one. So for us to calculate the delivery delays date, we simply subtract the actual delivery date with the promised date. And then so we are referencing this from the, so we are simply referencing this ref, we are simply referencing this purchase order. So PRC purchase order, just orders, purchase orders. So after this you simply execute this. Yes, so we have our well transformed table for the purchase orders, plus I think there's also the new columns that we've added as a result of subtracting the actual date and the order date, the lead time days, and also we have also the column for the delivery delay days. And then after this, we can also proceed to logistics. So let's run the logistics. Yeah, so let's also transform the logistics. So come to Silver, click here, and then Silver logistics dot SQL logistics, and then so come to, also there's a query I already created for logistics. So this is query for logistics. So let's simply copy paste here. So logistic is very straightforward. I didn't change any columns, as you can see. So let's just change here, because we are referencing this from the BRZ logistics. So just write here BRZ, the bronze logistics. And then you can execute. Yeah, so we have a logistic table here. Now let's go to another table. For this, let's go to suppliers. So let's run supplier here so that you can see. So execute supplier. Yeah, so this is the table for supplier. So let's do the transformation. So come to Silver, and then write Silver supplier dot SQL, and then click enter, and then let's come up with a query supplier. So supplier, supply is also straightforward. So come to paste here. So let's just reference this. So we are referring it with the BRZ suppliers, BRZ suppliers, where is it? This one here, BRZ suppliers, and then we execute this. Yes, so this is the table for suppliers. And then also let's go to forecasts. Let's execute this. Yes, so this forecast, let's find the query for this. So come to Silver, click here, and then write Silver. Silver, so this one is sales forecast. Sales forecast SQL. So let's copy this. So sales forecast SQL, I don't think if we need to add anything, so let's just remove this. Yeah, let's remove this, and then the date we shall also, let's use the, so currently the date is in this part format, so let's use the function add date add, and then into bracket 18 99 12 30, and then cast. So we are casting here the date, and we are casting as int, and then so let's run this, and then we are referencing this as yes, so we are referencing this as ref cells focused, yes, I think no, BRC, we are referencing it from these bronze cells, and then we can now execute. So the error is no, I think this comma here is the one. So let's run it again. Yes, so we have our date, our sales focused table, and then now let's end with the date, the calendar table. So let's run this. Yes, so this is the calendar table. So let's also transform this, come to silver, and then no, come to silver, and then click on this silver, calendar .sql. So this one we're going to change this simply as so let's just remove the whole of this. We use the one for date add, date add dot 1899 1230, then cost date. We are casting this date column here as init int, and then we are just referencing this from the BRC ref and then BRC calendar. And then we execute. So we have the silver calendar table here. So now we will have to, now we want this silver table to reflect into our Databricks, something like, so to have something like this supply chain schema silver, and to contain all the table having containing the silver layer. So for that, first of all, let's save all these files, all these tables. So just click, let's start with supplier, click on Control S, and then focused, click on Control S, and then purchase order, click on Control S, production, click on Control S, logistic, Control S, inventory, Control S, and then calendar, Control S. And then after you have saved all the files, now come to terminal and then run, write dbt run, and then you click enter. So we have the, so the dbt has successfully run the our tables here. So let's go to Databricks and refresh. So we have schema silver here, so let's expand this. So we're going to have all the table contain the silver layers, the table in the, all the tables in the silver layers. So now let's now do gold. So now let's do gold. So gold, in gold we will simply going to categorize the table into facts table and the dimensional table. So facts table, these are the tables that contain the transaction of the business, while dimensional table, these are the tables that they contain the descriptive aspect of the business. So for example, we can have a table containing only products of the business. We also can also have a table containing the name, or let's say the details of suppliers. We can have a table containing, let's say, the name of the data warehouse. I mean the warehouse where we store the different types of warehouse. We can have a table specifically for dates. So all those tables that they provide more information about a certain entity, a certain aspect of the business entity, those are what we call the dimensional tables. So let's find out these, let's identify and categorize this table into the facts and the dimensional table. So for that, come to gold, and then so let's start with facts table. So fact, so let's start with fact, let's start with facts production SQL. So production SQL, so this basically production is a facts table because it contains all the transaction related to production. So for that also the production will also going to combine production with I want to combine the production silver production with calendar table, so that I want this production to have the month, year, and week within the whole production table. So for that I will join production, silver production, and calendar table. So the whole of silver production details, and then I will top up some details such as day, month, and week, which is found in the calendar table. So let's start. So right, select, and then from 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 silver so we are referencing it from ref silver production, silver production, and then and then I want to join it with the calendar. So left join, left join, silver calendar, silver calendar. So let's reference it, ref silver calendar. And I want to join this based on so this one, let's call this one as P, and these as C. So I want to join based on P dot production date equals to C dot date, and then so now I'll choose the tables, the column. So I'll start with the P production ID from the P dot production ID, comma, and then also I'll pick production date, P dot production date, and then I will also pick P dot SKU, and then I will also pick P dot output quantity, comma, I will also pick a column for silver production, which is downtime, downtime hours, comma, and then p dot downtime hours, downtime reason, comma, and then I will also pick some column from the calendar table, which something like year, c dot year, comma, and then c dot month, then comma, I'll also pick c dot week, and then I'll run this after I have all my tables on that. Yeah, so you can see our table, it contain all the column for production and some column for the calendar table. So I think this one is okay. Now let's go to another table. So also purchase order is also a facts table, so it contain, no, let's also work on inventory. Inventory is also a facts table, so because it contain all the transaction related to the inventory. So fact inventory dot SQL, fact inventory dot SQL, and then so let's also, I have a query for that. So for inventory, so this is the query for inventory. Copy this and then come to here. So inventory, this one is very straightforward, so I didn't include any other details, so it's just straightforward. So come to ref, and then that we are referencing it from silver inventory, so and then you click on execute. Yeah, so we have the facts inventory, and then also we have another fact inventory, another fact table, which is fact purchase order. So just come to gold and then click on this, and then so let's call it fact purchase orders dot SQL. So come to the query pop, so copy this. So I think this one we've also joined. So here you can see we have the, so here you can see I've joined purchase order with the suppliers, and I can see so we've joined purchase order with suppliers. So let's use reference here, ref, we need to use ref so we have joined silver purchase orders, silver purchase purchase orders. Yeah, and then we've aliased this as PO, and then we have left join it with silver suppliers. So we need also to ref this. So reference silver suppliers, where is silver suppliers? Yes, silver suppliers, and then we've aliased this one as S, and then we have used supplier ID. So we've joined these two tables based on supplier ID from the purchase order alias PO and suppliers alias S. So the supplier ID is the common column here. So after this, now we can execute this. Okay. Supplier purchase orders here. It was a purchase order. So let's execute again. Yeah, so we have also the table for purchase order, fact purchase order, and then we have a facts table also for logistics. So this one, facts logistic, will contain all the transaction related to logistics. So come to gold, and then here, then facts logistics dot SQL. Yes, so fax logistics. So this is the table for fax logistics. Copy, paste here. Yeah, so here also I've joined silver logistics and the purchase order. So let's just ref this. Let's just reference this. Yes, silver logistics, and I've aliased this as L. I've aliased this as L, and then also have reference silver purchase order, ref silver purchase orders, purchase order, and then I've used order ID and so on. And then yeah, so we have logistics here. We have logistics. We have fax logistics. Also, we also have another fax table which is sales focused. So come to gold, fact called sales cells for focused here called SQL, and then yeah, yes. So for cells focused, let's run the silver focused first. So execute this. Yes, so we have, so basically in cells focus we're going to pick the whole table without changing anything. So just right select star from, so we are referencing this ref, we are referencing this with silver focused, silver cells focused, and then we can execute this. Yeah, so we have a facts table, and then also we have a dime table for suppliers, because this is just a table containing the details of the suppliers. So just come to gold, click on here, and then select, and then call it dime suppliers dot SQL, and then you click on, and then you write select star from ref silver suppliers, and then you can execute this. Yeah, so this is our dimensional table for silver, for suppliers. Also we have a dimensional table for calendar. Calendar is just a table containing the date details. So come to gold, and then here click on there, and then call this one as dim calendar. Calendar.sql. Then also this one is very straightforward, so select star from ref silver calendar. Silver calendar, and then you execute. Yeah, so we have dimensional table for calendar, and then we're also going to create two tables, table containing the products and table containing the warehouse. So come to gold, those are dimensional tables. Come to gold and then click on this, and then so let's start with the products. Time product dot SQL, dime product.sql, and then click. So I've already written the query for this, so product, so it's simply straightforward. So just select So we are basically extracting the product column from the silver inventory. So select star, we are referencing it from silver ref, silver inventory, silver inventory, silver inventory, and then we execute it. This is the dimensional table for the products. Also, let's find dimensional table for warehouse. So come to gold, and then here you click on dime warehouse .sql. And then so this one I think so let's just confirm it. So we're basically extracting the details of warehouses, which is found in also inventory. So yeah, so let's just pick it, copy, and then bring it here. So inventory, so let's just ref silver, yes, referencing from silver inventory, and then we execute it. Rename this dime warehouse. And then let's run this now. Yes, so we have dimensional warehouse for the dimensional table for the warehouse. So after this, let's save this before we take them to the, so come to fax, save, Control S, come to fax purchase order, fax purchase order, Control S, come to production, Control S, come to logistic, Control S, come to inventory, Control S, come to warehouse, dimensional warehouse, Control S, come to suppliers, dimensional suppliers, Control S, come to product, dimensional product, then come to dimensional calendar. So after we have saved all the files, now come to terminal and run dbt run. So the dbt has successfully run the tables. So let's refresh the Databricks. So we have all the schema, we have the silver schema, and then we have the gold schema. So gold schema, so this is the gold schema tables. So now we're going to take these tables from the gold schema, and we shall going to take them to Power BI and start building the visuals. And from the visuals we can use those dashboard to come up with the business insights and recommendation. So let's now take this data in our gold layer into the Power BI and start building the dashboard. So come to Power BI and then come to get data, come to more, and then you search Databricks. And then you click on connect. Yes, so host name, so that one you will just get it from the Databricks. So come to compute, then serverless data warehouse, and then credential details. So you'll have a host name here, so copy, and then go to Power BI, paste it here, and then you'll have HTTP path. You'll also come to here, HTTP path, this one here, copy, and then paste, and then click OK. Yes, so our catalog is this, so expand this, and then we want the data in the gold schema, so tick all of them. And then click on load. Yeah, so the table they have landed into the Power BI. So after that, just come to model view, and so in this we're going to build the data model. So we're going to connect the dimensional table with the facts table using the primary key and the foreign key. So let's put all the facts table at the center. So where are these other? Yeah, facts. Yes, let's just put it here. And we put it here. Here. Let's put it here. Yes, so we'll start with the first dimensional table, product. So product here, we're going to connect it with the product ID from, so let's start with our first facts table, production. So you'll drag and drop to that one. Yes, so there's already a relationship. So just cancel it, and then you'll come to the other facts table, this one here. And then you'll come to this fact. There's already a relationship. You'll come to this fact here. There's already a relationship, and then you'll come to this one here. There's already a relationship. So I hope we are done with all the facts table. Yeah. Yeah, so we are done with Dime products. Now let's go to data warehouse. So data warehouse. So production, it doesn't have a column for data warehouse ID. And then this one forecast doesn't have. So we have inventory here, which has the column for data warehouse ID. So drag and drop. So already a relationship. We also check facts purchase order. I don't think so. This one doesn't have warehouse ID. And then this one also doesn't have a warehouse ID. And then so now let's come to Dime calendar. So Dime calendar, we're going to use date. So we have date and production date here. Yes, so let's save it. And then also date with focus date in this facts table. Let's save it. And then inventory, does it have any date? This one doesn't have any date. Come to this one, we have okay, come to date. Let's use date, and then we try to order date, and then you click on save. And then logistics. Logistic, it doesn't have any date column, so come to no, delete this relationship here. Yes. Now let's go to suppliers. So supplier here, supplier ID is already a relationship. We also have supplier ID here. Supplier ID. Yeah. And then supplier ID here. Good. And then do we have supplier ID here? No. Do we have supplier ID here? No. So what is this? Now this cancel. Yeah, it was supposed to be supplier with supplier. Yeah. Yeah, so we have our model. We've created our model here where we have connected the dimensional table with the fax table using the primary key and the foreign key. So next step, now let's build the measures. So come to, now let's build measures. So let's use this. Now right click, come to new measure. So let's start with the first measure will be, let's start with the total downtime hours. Total downtime hours equals to some production hours. Production downtime hours. Downtime, yeah. And then I click enter. And then come to here, right click. Also, let's find total forecasted demand. Total forecasted demand equals to some forecasted demand, some forecasted demand, forecasted demand, and then I click enter. And then I calculate total historical demand, right click, and then new measure, total historical demand equals to total historical demand equals to sum sales forecast historical demand, and then I close the bracket, click enter, and then total logistic cost, click on new measure, total logistics cost equals to this is some logistics shipment cost, here is here, click enter, and then I'll also calculate total order. So new measure, total orders equals to so this one we're going to count the number of order ID. So count order ID. I think order ID is in purchase order. Purchase order ID. Purchase order ID, so it's here. So, and then click on enter, and then we calculate the average logistic shipment cost. So new measure, average shipment cost equals to average logistic shipment costs, and then click enter, and then average delivery days, delivery delay days, average delivery delay days equals to that will be average of the delivery delays days. Where is that? Yeah, so we are finding the average of delivery delay days. So close the bracket, click enter. Yes, so I think we have all the measures required for us to come up with the best dashboard that will help us come up with the insights. So let's build the dashboard. So for title, come to text. So increase here, put it around 28, and then we call this one as supply chain executive dashboard, and then you can stretch it Yeah, then let's put it this way, and then come to effects, shadow, and then we can maybe put it bluish. Yeah, and then so this is the title of our dashboard. And then slicers, we can put 3 slicers. So slicers is here. So the first slicer, product is coming from product slicer here. Yes, so you'll change that to drop down. Yes, so this first slicer. Okay, let's make it bold, and also let's make the its background general effects background. Let's change it to blue. Now let's change it to background. Let's change it to bluish. Yeah, and then we put it here. Change it to here. Yeah, and then copy, paste. So another slicer will be month name. So come to calendar date. So remove this, and then you put it month name. Yes, so we don't have a month name here, so let's go to let's use supply, let's use day. So now remove this, put day here. Remove let's put year. Let's put day of week. Yes, so remove this. Now let's put year here. 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 And then so let's expand this one. So come to that, canvas setting, custom. So we are expanding the width, so let's expand to 90. $13.0. $14.0. Yes, so after that let's just reduce this. then copy, paste. Yeah, so we have our slicers. So let's change this to supplier name. Remove this. Let's use supplier with suppliers here. Supplier name. It's here. So here, so we have suppliers. So we have the products here and supplier. And then now let's come to KPIs. So KPI come to, let's also drag this. Yeah, let's now build the KPIs. So come to card. The first KPIs will be let's start with total logistic cost. So total logistic cost. So this is the total logistic cost. So for that, let's call out value, make it bold. Let's change it to blue. Expand it. Change the font to this one. So okay. And then now let's go to the category labels. Let's make it bold. Let's make it dark black. And then we general effects, we go to make it shadow. So let's also make it bluish. Yeah. So this is the first KPI. So copy, paste, and then bring it. The second one we can maybe use total downtime hours. So click this, downtime hours, and then copy, paste. Copy, paste, and then also we can track the total orders. So this is the number of total orders, and then we can also track. We can track the. We can also track the average delivery days. So just copy, paste, average delivery days. So remove this, and then we put average delivery days. Average delivery days. So this is the average delivery days. So let's put it here. Expand it. Oh, so we have our KPIs there, and Now let's start building the visuals. So yeah, so let's start building our first chart. So we will start with the we're going to track the total orders in each and every year. So click on line chart and then click on the total orders, total orders, total orders, and then each and every year. So bring this to here. Yes, so we're going to have we're going to have this. So this is the total order of each and every year, and then come to and then come to this format. Let's format the title. Let's make it bold, and then let's make it at the center. Let's increase the font. Change this to this one, and then also let's activate data labels here, and then x-axis, and x-axis let's deactivate the title. The value, let's make them bold, and also let's make them dark black, and then you come to the y-axis. We remove the title, total orders, and I think the values also we can remove them because we already have the labels here. After that, come to general, come to effects, let's activate shadow, and then let's just make it bluish. So this is our first chart where we are tracking the total order each and every year. So after this, also let's find the total downtime hours. Let's track the total downtime hours and their respective reason. So copy this, so bring this here, bring this here. Now let's use stack column chart, and then so we are finding total downtime hours, with their respective reason, downtime reason. So we want to know, so maintenance is the one taking more downtime hours than the rest of the reason. So let's also expand this to height. Let's make this height, let's expand it to 900. Yeah, we are expanding this height. So after that, let's also use the same chart, copy paste to track the supplier name, the supplier with their respective average delay day. So we are basically trying to track the supplier's performance here. So remove this. So we are tracking the supplier's performance, supplier name with their respective average delivery days. So you can see here we have supplier 10 is the one leading in terms of delay delivery days, and supplier 1 is the one with, so basically supplier 1 has better performance because he has less number of delay delivery days than the, let's say, supplier number 10. And then from this we can have a table here. We can have a table, so copy paste, and then so we can have a table top. So this table will summarize the supplier, for example, supplier name, average delivery days. We can also summarize the total logistics, let's say total order done in each and every car. We can also summarize the yeah, I think this one is okay. Yeah, so this is basically a summary for supplier's performance. And also we can add we can also add we track the total forecasted demand and the total historical demand. So we are using line chart here to track the total in each and every month. So let's put this here. Let's just put this one here. Let's just place it the way it was. Here, so let's expand also. Let's just expand canvas setting, expand width. Yeah, and then copy, and then track. Let's also let's expand it again with yeah. So let's here track the use line chart. Use line chart. Use line chart to track the total forecasted demand and the total historical demand in each and every year. So just come to total, click here, total forecasted demand, total historical demand, and then we are using here as our, so yeah, so we have the track of total forecasted demand the year 2020 to the year 2024. So from this dashboard we can get the insights, so we can track the performance of various, for example, supplier. We can have a summary of the supplier's performance. We can also be able to see the demand, the forecasted demand, and the real actual historical demand. And then here you can be able to identify the maintenance, the downtime reason, consuming more, having more downtime hours than the rest. And then we can also be able to track the total order by each year, so we can be able to track if our company is growing or not. And then here we have the KPIs like the total logistics cost, the total downtime hours, the total orders, average delivery days. And then we can filter if you want, for example, want to see the performance of a specific year, so we can filter and we can be able to see the performance of a specific year. So from this you will come up with an insights, and from the insights you will provide recommendations so that the organization can make better decision. So I think this one is very clear.